we kill all of your family. Fed post redacted your family.
Hello everybody and welcome to the Garbagemice podcast, the podcast for genetically superior rodents. And today we have the one, the only, the egg with the plan, the FBI's most wanted man, EGGWHITE! How's it going everybody? How's it going, Eggy?
Woo! Hey, it's top notch, you know what I'm saying? Hotter than a fire crotch, you feel me? Yes, sirree.
Heck yeah, man, heck yeah. How's it going with Redsonte and Lil Pizzabox in the back?
It's going pretty good with me.
Yeah. I just got off of a 4-hour duty shift, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, that's, you know, you can never help that with your Marine Corps training. We got,
Right.
We got fed boys in this area, Eggy, I hope you don't mind.
I'm the artist formerly known as Eggy, you know what I'm saying? No relation, you feel me? You know, all intents and purposes, all rights reserved.
Yep. Now, Eggy, I have a question on my head that I've been wondering for a while now. Given the chance, would you rather deal with American white women or deal with traditional tradwife Syrian women but have to be born into Syria and live through a fucking war zone? Which one would you choose?
Well, listen, you know what? I know I count my blessings, you know what I'm saying? I'm with the program. Hey, listen, you know what? I'm staying with those American whitetoids 24/7. Listen, you know, that's my deck of cards. I don't know how to play cribbage, but I do know how to play solitaire, you understand me? So that's how I'm going.
I understand. That's, you know what? That's a good outlook on life, man. For me, I just don't know how you people deal with those white women. Honestly, I've came here ever since I came to North America. I'm like, fuck, holy shit, what's wrong with these people? But you know what? That's a talk for a different time. How's it going, Eggy? Like, any news? Any new projects? Any new songs?
Well, I'm doing pretty good.
Any new cooking tips?
Well, I mean, listen, all I'm going to say is that you can never have too much fresh cracked black pepper on anything. I put it in my drinks. I put it on every single thing that I eat. I got to do at least 20 cracks on the pepper mill for every single food item or drink that enters my body. And it's good, you know, fresh cracked black pepper, it has a similar chemical property to fresh raw garlic. If you like crack a clove of fresh raw garlic and eat it, it's very pungent to your palate and it might burn your throat and it might not feel so good, but it's so full of basically antioxidants that are really healthy and they really combat aging and all kinds of stuff. And black pepper, when you crack them black peppers on your food, very similar. Now, as far as today goes, I woke up this morning. I didn't get a ton of sleep because I was up last night working out in the gym, and then I got home and went to bed. Then I got up this morning, and it was a special day. I got invited to a hockey game with my family, so I got to see my brother and his fiance, my sister, my brother-in-law, and both my parents. We all went to this nice hockey game. We had some real good food, some real good drinks. I got to go on they put me on the big screen at the game. They recognized me from the Pepe the Frog movie, so that was pretty nice. That was pretty fun. People were like shouting me out and saying, "Oh, hey, what's up, bro?" and all that stuff. So that was pretty cool. And then people were like donating to me on my donation links for my stream while I was there, so I got like free, you know, basically it was paid for me to even just go there. The ticket was paid for by my mom, and we all just had a good time, and then I didn't even have to drive home. They dropped me back off, so I just got snooze on the way back, catch up on a little bit of sleep, and it was all real gravy as far as new projects. I do have some new stuff. I got a couple, you know, if you've been following my streams, I've been, you know, cranking out some good improv, working on my abilities, and yeah, there's gonna be some new music by the end of the month. I got Doomerfest I'm performing at in April, and I'm gonna do new material there to fit in with the program over there. Otherwise, I'm just kind of chilling, doing my thing.
Man, that sounds
cool.
Sounds amazing, man.
Yeah.
So Doomerfest is how is it? What kind of festival is it? Or, you know, gathering or anything?
It's pretty much a 2-day event. I'm going to be performing on day one. It's going to be a lot of those SoundCloud sort of, you know, E-punk kind of artists that are going to be doing their thing. Let me see. I actually just have the new updated. Some people, you know, there has been a couple changes in the lineup as it goes, but let me see here. I think I have the, my day here. It's going to be Cyborg 9000, Raccoon King, Glock Angel, Doc, Owen, Czar Bomba, me, and Jezebel Garbagemice are going to be on that particular set. So it's going to be a lot of those SoundCloud artists you know and love. You heard of them from like the MSG projects and everything like that. They're going to be out here. They're going to be out there at that show doing their thing, and I plan to certainly come correct. I've been getting back to the gym lately. That's my new thing now. Susan Wojcicki, she knocked me off YouTube again, so now I'm on my fitness mode. I got a new fitness video coming out tonight and tomorrow. I got some stuff in the queue. The notifications are going. I mean, this new video right here. I only have 300 subscribers yet. I still got over 1,000 views on this new fitness video, so that makes me think that it's probably doing some
It's pretty good.
rounds on some other things.
Yeah.
But hey, it's doing my. It is. Either way, every time you go to the gym, you go there and you get a little stronger every day. You just gotta keep going. It's all part of the thing. It's like a real life MMO. You gotta just keep on killing those wolves. You gotta keep on hitting those weights, and you get a little stronger every time.
I get you, man. I get you. For me,
Oh yeah.
I always do calisthenics, just do push-ups, sit-ups, like planks in my room. Just like exercises I can do in my own room because I'm too broke for a gym. But speaking of the gym, are you like watching your like proteins, fats, like micronutrients? Are you getting into that, or are you more just like, yeah, let me just go to the gym and I'll get the bulk, I'll get the muscle, I'll get everything like done? So how are you going about that?
I mean, yeah, it's I was once upon a time when I did go to college, like 11 years ago for a while. And then I decided fuck college because that shit sucks. But when I went to college at the time, I was going to be a dietitian, so I was very educated on all kinds of nutrition. And so, I would say I was certainly a little bit rusty. I always have some things in the back of my mind. I'm like, oh, well, I remember that. I kind of remember this or whatever. When I'm getting back into everything, it does sort of, I'm kind of knocking some of the dust off the old think tank there. But I remember enough to kind of get me started, and then once I kind of got my basics back in play, like, all right, I am going to be doing this. I'm not just saying I'm doing it. I'm actually going to be doing it, and I really am doing it. And here goes 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks of doing it. All right, now I know that I'm doing it. Then I kind of settle in and re-educate myself and everything like that. But I mean, it's all pretty simple. I do pretty well with my streaming and everything like that. So it's like, I have the money to make sure that I'm getting the healthiest food and the healthiest meals, and then it's just you do have to spend some time on meal prep and everything like that to make sure that you're doing it right, because anything that's easy to eat, any fast food or microwave or any stuff like that is going to generally, not always, but a general rule of thumb is that it's not going to be the best for you. So you do have to take that time to prep meals, and I am doing my meal prep, and I'm doing it right. I'm doing, because that's one thing. I was quote Chef Jean-Pierre. He's a chef who I follow, and he says, if it's not easy, he says, if it's not easy, you're not going to do it. So make sure when you're cooking, you got to make sure that it's going to be something easy enough that you want to do it every time. And so I abide by that and make sure that, I'm putting it together the way that is going to be replicable. My meal prep is going to be something that I'm going to always easily be able to do every week. It's not going to be something that's going to be strenuous and take multiple days or something crazy. My workouts, it's my time that I'm going to the gym is this time. All right, it's always going to work out pretty good. I have this, I have my gym clothes, outfits. All right, so I'll always make sure something is clean to wear to the gym. It's just all part of that. It's just always sort of having, you have to put the work in, but at the same time, just having your tools, ready for you to do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man.
Yeah.
For me, for the longest time, I only ate like out of canned foods, emergency rations, stuff like that. Like stuff that's generally already made and already prepped. But nowadays, I've been trying to dip my toes back into cooking my own meals, but I'm really not doing that well. I'm just, boiling eggs, making like sandwich spreads.
Whoa. Can't say that in front of Eggy.
You're right. No, I've not been boiling any eggs. I've been really respecting them. I've been trying to keep them safe. I've been protesting supermarkets that have eggs in them. I've been a real egg activist recently. So
You're part of the Egg Liberation Army.
Yes. I can neither
course.
confirm nor deny the allegations levied against me. Yeah. So, that's just how I do my meals. And, I also work in a kitchen, so I do get food there, like kitchen food, so that's
nice.
Yeah. It saves
I
me
used to work at a
$200.
restaurant, and I would get free food there all the time.
Nice.
I think if you get good at cooking, it can be a lot faster than actually going out and getting fast food, especially because you have to drive 10 minutes to the place, drive 10 minutes home maybe. You got to wait in the line at the drive-thru. It's like you could throw something together at home in 10 minutes if you're fast.
Man, when COVID first hit, I used to live with my brother, and he would never clean his dishes, and so the kitchen got really piled up. There were dishes all over the sink, even piling up on the stove. And so I was like, I'm not gonna deal with that. I started ordering on DoorDash, on Uber Eats, stuff like that, and it burned through my money, and it was very unhealthy. It was very bad for me. But I've gotten away from that. I'm no longer doing fast food. Maybe once in a while when I'm walking outside and late night, I'll see like an A&W open 24/7. I'll be like, you know what? I'll have like a lettuce wrapped chicken sandwich or something like that. But yeah, aside from that, I've been just like doing my own like stuff that's not eggs.
Yeah,
And
I mean
noodles.
it's tough because
Right,
like
and I have my go ahead. All right, I have my fucking my DoorDashed McDonald's right in front of me right here. It's
good.
it's like my fourth DoorDash order since I don't know.
Since yesterday?
Since yesterday. Couple tacos yesterday. Had some McDonald's today. The closest thing we can get to cooking here was we have like smoke pits outside. It's like a little barbecue grills. We have to make a 2-mile walk roughly to the commissary, get some fucking meat, walk all the way
You're in
back,
prison?
and I plan a cookout. Yeah, something like that. Yeah,
For defecting to Russia last episode. That's why.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucked up though, because like so you don't got like you can't get that like microwave bag rice or boiling bag, or it's not perfect because it's got plastic and shit in it, whatever. But like can't get none of that, no tuna or canned chicken or anything.
Yeah, we can. It's just always sold out, so
Honestly,
this is the best option.
that's kind of how the stores are getting right now with all this shit that's going on. I noticed because they say that Russia is like the main wheat exporter of the world, and so I went to go my family asked me to make dinner for them. My mother started a new job. She's like, "Oh, maybe you can make dinner and we can have dinner together," or something like that. I was like, "That sounds good." So I went and I needed some pasta and some dough from the store, and like now I've been back there since, and the aisles were kind of restocked, but like the pasta aisle was like 80% empty when I went there at the time. I still got what I needed, but it was very scarce. And then the biscuits and the all that stuff, rolls and everything, the refrigerated dough, that was pretty much totally empty. I only had like maybe one thing to grab from. It was technically what I needed, so it worked out, but it was kind of like a little different, so it ended up turning out a little different, but it all was still good. But I would say like even when I was hanging out with Mumkey, and like he's definitely someone who does not shy away from a convenient meal.
Yeah.
Like because I was house sitting for him for like 3 or 4 days, and so I bought like groceries for most of the time that I was there. I ended up even bringing a little bit back home with me, but we definitely there was a few times where it's like, oh yeah, well hey, they got this deal on DoorDash today, or they got this deal on this today, so let's go ahead and get this DoorDash, or they got this deal over at this restaurant. And it's like, even though these are good deals, it's like I just know as I'm learning about nutrition, it's like this food, even though it's a good deal and it is at a restaurant or whatever, it's like something you would normally pay a good price for. These ingredients are still going to be, they're not organic, they're going to be processed, and like I'm so kind of on my P's and Q's right now that I'm even taking that kind of stuff into consideration. So it's like, all right, yeah, did I still kind of go about and have a couple fun things here or there, little cheat meals here or there? Yeah, it's true, but as far as my own meal planning, I'm really dialing it in. I mean, I even if I can't find certain ingredients that I'm looking for, I'll even go online to get them instead of settling for an inferior, sort of processed alternative.
So my question is, like, what's the difference between a processed or an organic thing? Because I have no fucking clue. Every time I see, like, a organic thing for 5 times the price of a processed thing, I'm like, I'll take the fucking processed eggs or whatever. Not eggs, sorry. Anything else. Still, like, what's the difference between organic and processed?
Well, a big thing is going to be, there is one, if it's organic, it's non-GMO, so that means it's not whatever, and that's kind of neither here nor there. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that we eat that's been, modified over decades or centuries of crossbreeding or whatever, cross-pollination or whatever. The main thing for me is that a lot of commercial produce or a lot of commercial food comes into contact with pesticide in the form of Roundup, which is scientifically known as glyphosate. And basically, this glyphosate that is used as the typical commercial pesticide has been shown to have effects on human health. It's been shown to basically be carcinogenic. It's been shown that it feminizes men. It can masculinize women. It could have impact on your reproductive system. It can make your hair fall out. It can make you go blind. It can do a lot. It has a lot of effects, and typically in places where there's a lot of runoff of it, and it gets like sort of downstream from farms or whatever, it kills the wildlife. Like they'll just drop dead from coming into contact with it. But it's the commercial pesticide that's been used for decades, and it's just sort of with the output of produce, it kind of is like a sort of just rinse your produce off when you get it, and that'll be a little better. But at the same time, it's like it's still out there. It's still going to be coming into contact with, and even in some cases, you have to check. I haven't looked into this lately, but I seem to recall years ago there was even some times where like there would be a non-organic farm and organic farm sort of near each other, and sometimes like this pesticide would like catch in the wind and blow over like into the organic farm. But I don't think that's happened anytime recently. That was just a scandal in the organic community many years ago when I was in there. But basically, like the pesticides they use, it has confirmed detrimental impact on human health, and it will impact you mentally and physically. It's just sort of like we don't have anything better. If everything was organic, like half the food would get eaten by bugs or whatever, then there wouldn't be enough food to feed everybody. So they kind of just decided to roll with it. It's one of those things. I mean, it's not like it's necessarily killing people more than anything else. It's just a background hazard to human health that continues to have detrimental impacts in the same way that several other things that we have around do. So it's just sort of one of those step by step reducing the negative things from your diets to better your health bit by bit.
Can we go back to 10 minutes ago where I didn't know this, so that I can still buy cheap food and not feel bad about it?
Sorry, you'll forget about it eventually.
Okay, let's hope so. I mean, I'm not gonna forget about its effects. It's turning me into a soyboy cuck. I can't have that.
Well, I mean, even I worked in retail for many years, and you might not know this. Receipt paper is coated with plastic. That's what makes it kind of smooth. And if you work in retail, that stuff, you touch it at such a high volume that the plastic seeps into your blood through your skin, and basically works similarly to how estrogen works. So if you are a retail wagey, it basically is sort of like the equivalent of taking estrogen by touching all these receipt papers with your fingers at such a high volume. Now, the thing is,
so
that
you're saying that if I touch a lot of receipts, I'll grow bigger tits.
Something like
much.
That, yeah.
Fair enough.
You might develop gynomasticasia, or however they pronounce that. I think it has come more into the public knowledge over these last years, though. So I think now there are more receiptless options. There's sort of like receipts on demand for a lot of stores. It's become more ingrained in the common knowledge that these aren't so great to be handling at a high volume like they once were. That's just something I've noticed. But I mean, one other thing I noticed is that I did work retail for years, and then now I haven't worked retail for almost 5 years, and it's just like, I feel. I mean, you feel it. You feel the difference going from high volume retail work to not being in contact with that stuff for years. Like, it actually, you feel a total difference throughout your whole body. So it really is. I think they're changing it now over these last few years. I think they're starting to understand what it does. I just unfortunately happened to do it once upon a time, and then I didn't have any other way to work. But people work in the coal mine still. People work in the nuclear plant still. Nothing in life is totally sanitized. Nothing in life is totally perfect in every way. Some people just have to be the one that has to be hurt to keep the wheels turning,
Yeah, you could have worked at Chernobyl. Could have been worse.
Could have been much worse.
Yeah, and I know that in low quality food, if you're one of those people that eats fast food every day, like I once did, you are consuming about 1 credit card worth of plastic every week by doing that. There's just plastic in food somehow because it's just that low down on the pole.
It's true, yeah. Microplastic is detected in rainwater. It's detected in, pretty much everything you can imagine at this point. Microplastics and residual estrogens from things like birth control and other artificial estrogens that have been supplemented to large portions of the population for decades, and it's not broken down by the body. It is passed in the urine, so it ends up in water refineries and things like that. There's pretty much estrogen and carcinogenic chemicals in literally everything, even if it's organic at this point. So it's just, once again, like I just kind of said a couple minutes ago, it's pretty much just, as far as that goes, it's just about getting the least amount of it in you as possible.
God damn. At this point, I would just rather go back to the Middle East. Straight up, man. We never had any of these problems back home. All the milk was locally produced, everything. Maybe we did. Actually, now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure we had more cancerogenics, but we just didn't talk about them and didn't know them. And I think that's much better for my own sanity than knowing all this crap. Now I'll be fucking paying double for stuff that's still tainted.
When I first learned about this back in 2011, I was so paranoid. That's why I weighed about 230 pounds when I was I think maybe I was 19, but either 18 or 19. I weighed about 230 pounds, and I lost 70 pounds in 3 months because I got so paranoid about it that I would only eat what I would allow myself to eat dropped by about 95% because it had to be just so very particular, only very particular locally sourced things because I was so scared shitless about it all. And that's what kind of got me on being a dietitian, actually, because I eventually kind of realized that my life just couldn't work like that. I had to branch out into some more different kinds of food. Either way, I just had to eat food to survive and be alive. But yeah, the thing is, too, we could go back and say, I remember, we did have all these, low ingredient amount foods hundreds of years ago, and it was all locally sourced all the time, and that certainly was better, but at the same time, people were, eating lead and shit back then because they thought it was this or that was better, and there's probably things we do right now that we think are better for us that maybe we'll figure out aren't in another time, so it's just kind of part of the human condition, I suppose.
Are emergency rations safe? And MREs?
I've seen some that aren't particularly bad, I would say. I haven't looked at a lot of them.
Can you tell me which ones to get? How about the UN peanut butter? The UN peanut butter, what's it called? Plum nut or something like that. It's something they give to malnutrition people. Does it have those fibroestrogens or whatever? Because I want to have those. Those are my favorite.
Well, I would assume that the UN peanut butter would be much like other commercial peanut butters in that it will contain hydrogenated vegetable oil, which can have a negative impact on the cardiovascular system, the neurological system. Typically, the best peanut butter is the one that has the natural oil separation. I think you still have natural non-hydrogenated peanut butters that are out there. I'm sure they're probably better than hydrogenated peanut butters, but there's unfortunately, if you want the best, the truly healthiest peanut butter experience, is going to be one of those ones that is, I think, refrigerated and has like natural oil separation. And they're not, they do taste different. Like, they don't taste quite the same as your typical peanut butter. It's very it does taste like basically like peanut paste versus what you might be typically used to. But, if you want to have some, it does get the job done.
Okay, fair enough. I guess I'm not going to be having peanut butter or UN malnutrition peanut butter anytime soon. That shit was my favorite, man. That's what got me hooked on emergency rations.
Right. I mean, MREs, they're good for constipating you for about a week. That's what I learned in the field, at least.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, it's still going to have, it's going to be better for you than like eating candy or something like that for every meal or something. It has nutritious qualities, but it just has those sort of also processed qualities that can have detrimental impact on certain parts of the body after a certain extended length of consumption.
Please tell me, as a broke fucking early 20-year-olds guy, please tell me that noodles are at least like passable, like they're not that bad. I know noodles are bad. Just tell me they're not that bad. Let me live my life, man.
Are you talking about like ramen noodles?
Like, yeah, ramen noodles. Like, it's not dollars. Like, not $1 packs of noodles. Like, stuff that's a little more on the higher end. Like, how's that?
Well, I haven't looked at like the nutrition of ramen lately. I would say that's it's typically it's salty, high sodium, and it's wheat. Some people, I'm not really too educated about wheat. Some people have I feel like, I don't know if there's really settled science about wheat. Some people say, oh my goodness, wheat is just the worst. And some people say, well, no, it's not because yada yada. Basically, I guess it wasn't, the modern day wheat is processed usually a bit differently than it was like 1,000 years ago. That's all I really know for sure. So some people think that it's too extra processed, that maybe it's not as nutritious as it was like 1,000 years ago, whatever the case might be. But I don't really particularly know settled science as far as wheat goes, so I'm not particularly I don't really have any opinion on it either way. I think it's not the healthiest, or maybe some would say. I kind of get my carbohydrates in other ways, but now some people are even telling me this. Oh no, for years it was always oats and squats. They said oatmeal was the real deal. Oatmeal should be the carbohydrates that you consume in your day-to-day. And now they're saying, like, oatmeal is, some people that I've been hearing from, they're like, oh, oatmeal is actually, that's not as good because it's got this or that. It's got too much gluten or whatever the fuck it. So I feel like it's a little bit personal opinions on that type of stuff right now. I wouldn't feel too bad about eating those just because I haven't heard a concrete for sure opinion on wheats as far as I've heard at this point.
How about sugar alternatives? I think that's the most important thing here. Like, is stevia good?
I'm gonna guess no.
I mean, well, it's one of those things where I would kind of put it in where the same as far as like what I hear. I would put it similar to like how wheat is right now. It's sort of like nobody has anything in particular. Like, there's no obvious, oh my goodness, it's bad because XYZ. But there's some people who, consider it to be, all right, yeah, we solved all our problems with this. And then some people consider it to be, no, don't ever eat that because just don't eat it, okay? Just because I said so. And there's like monk fruit is another sweetener that's out there now. Monk fruit and stevia, that erythritol or whatever it is. There's different things out. I don't have the knowledge, or I don't know if we even have really long-term studies on these things yet, as far as several years, and if it does have any impact on anything. I'm sure, as far as I could say, it's probably they're probably fine. I don't see why not, but some people are always, if you come up with a alternative, oh, well, this is like the alternative to that, there's always going to be somebody who's going to like shoot it down. No, you can't ever have that because any of that is always going to lead you back to blah, blah, blah. I don't know. So that's one thing. That's actually what pushed me away originally back because I was trying to, always be my healthiest, and I ended up spiraling down in this like purity spiraling rabbit hole back at the time. where they're like, if you do anything besides eat the grass from your backyard, then you're gonna die instantly. I mean, and like no joke though, like no joke at all. Like people really, they would only eat leaves off trees and like from their yard. Anything else was suspect, and they would never eat anything else. They would never even cook anything. Like I said, if you put any temperature, they said if you put any heat to anything, it would make it poisonous. So like it got so crazy that I had to just walk away from all that stuff. And so that's sort of one of those things you have to, if you're looking into these nutrition circles or trying to educate yourself on nutrition, you have to be careful because there are some loonies out there that'll try to just put out bad information out there because they're so crazy.
I thought vegans were bad, man. This is much worse. Holy shit.
Alright, we're opening up a whole new understanding of nutrition here.
Yeah, I never thought I would be getting nutrition advice from someone who ate multiple ounces of Play-Doh in one sitting.
Well, that makes me the true expert, you know what I'm saying?
That was
so let me throw down a situation
segment
for you. I think the world needs to hear this, especially in these trying times. So let's say Russia nukes the entire world and all the grocery stores and all the fast food restaurants are completely wiped out and you're among the last men standing. How would you go about surviving? Like, nutrition-wise, at least.
Well, I mean, if we're talking real nuclear fallout, I mean, your ability, basically what you have in front of you is pretty much reduced by at least probably 95, if not more %, because now, as far as wildlife goes, if any of it's left alive, that's a dwindling thing. I don't believe that most canned goods are particularly prohibitive of irradiation. I'd have to double check that. I'm not sure because you as a person, you know, you're going to take an iodine tablet or whatever in the event of nuclear fallout. You're going to have the means within yourself to prevent irradiation to your own tissue. But as far as pre-existing, if you did not have your food within a particular, let's say, bunker, a fallout shelter, or whatever that's going to have some of these pre-existing measures, so anything that's going to be surviving on a store shelf or whatever the case might be, it might be contaminated. Anything out in the wild might be contaminated. So, I mean, you're pretty much probably going to be limited as far as safe survival options to anything that was already in a storage facility or already having preventative measures as far as a nuclear situation would go. I think that's about it. So if you got to, however you're going to get that, you're going to break into people's houses or you're going to break into warehouses or steal or however you got to get it, that's probably, you're going to be your number one bet, to be honest.
So what you're saying is we Garbagemice endorse breaking into people's houses, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And that is a legally binding statement. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I'm going to need to start a Garbagemice compound because the trash rats aren't going to do it.
That's
The
right.
trash rats have the Tim Pool compound, though. Like reactors there, they can just hop in, I think.
Right, but that's
I
going to be
guess
the
so.
first to get nuked.
No, that's going to be the first to get swatted. They're going to get swatted like an 8th time, and Rusty's going to be there, and instead this time he's going to pull out a gun and get everybody
It's going to
killed.
be like, oh my god, it's the knife game guy.
It's the guy from the Elliot Rodger thing! It's not Elliot Rodger, who the fuck was that guy? The
Florida man shooting school.
the guy. It's the guy from that police report! Kill him, he's got a gun! Yeah.
Well, I actually just Googled it right now out of my own curiosity because I wasn't particularly sure, but according to Quora, it says that metal cans are actually great at blocking background radiation, and they are purposely irradiated in order to eliminate bacterial contamination. So
Very nice.
it seems like basically if, I guess the thing would be, it says that if the canned food is opened in an area that has recent nuclear fallout or whatever, that would be what would contaminate your food. But I guess if you have canned food that was not within, like, you know, the immediate blast range of a nuclear weapon, allegedly, according to Google, depending on, make sure you don't prepare it in an area that's got a lot of background radiation, but it might be all right for you.
Bro, I'm not gonna prepare my meals at ground zero, okay? I'm not gonna be in the crater trying to cook my fucking canned food. I'm gonna be all the way down in the sewers trying to eat it with the mice. Okay.
That's right.
There's probably some like leftover radiation that you can use as a stove. There's probably like a clump of uranium just on the ground.
Just fly over the mushroom cloud. Use that as your.
You're gonna be roasting a pig over like just a giant green glowing pile. You got it on a stick, and you're just turning it around. It's just turning extra green, and skin's just melting off.
You could probably just eat the uranium because uranium has a lot of calories.
It's like 8 billion calories.
Yeah, it's like a gram of uranium is like 20 trillion calories or something like that.
Bro, I think
that's enough to sustain us for a
we'll
while.
have the fucking life hack. Sorry, Pizzabox, you were saying?
Oh, no, nothing.
Okay. Are you getting raided again by your Fed friends?
No, I'm already in jail.
Oh yeah, right. I forgot.
Oh, nice.
All right, it's just the security checking up on me, you know, making sure I haven't killed myself or Hillary Clinton hasn't killed me yet.
God damn.
Make sure you're meeting the Fed posting quota.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, any news with any of you guys? Have you all been following the? Honestly, does anybody care about Ukraine anymore?
No.
I got bored.
They can get bombed. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's
Do you guys
right.
have any funny stories you could tell?
Oh yeah, stories from back in home country. So while we're on the topic of food, I'm trying to think about any food stories. Let me think.
Did you have to go hunting for your food?
Never had to go hunting, but we did own a piece of land that we got oranges from, but that's kind of like a boring story. What else? Yeah,
Right,
actually,
but going outside to go pick the oranges, that was kind of like hunting. You gotta
a
avoid...
little bit. No, we did hunt birds in my grandpa's village. We hunted birds. We cooked pigeons. I'm just gonna share one of my brother's stories since none of my own stories are coming to mind. So back in home country, my brother was sitting in a bar called Lavadisa that was very close to an area of conflict. Now, this was early on in the Civil War, so nobody really cared. Everybody was still like, oh, it's just gonna pass over. It's just like a few protests. We did hear about shootings at the time, but nobody cared. And so my brother's just sitting in the cafe, drinking some shisha, or smoking some shisha, playing poker with his friends, enjoying life. When all of a sudden, he's facing the glass front of the bar, and he sees people start to pile on top of each other to try to get inside the bar. And he thinks to himself, oh, that's weird. And then he realizes, oh shit, and he jumps off his seat over the table, on the ground, hitting like a few glasses, knocking them over, when all of a sudden, people start getting shot up inside the bar. It was like a fucking action movie, yeah. And my brother is fucking petrified. He's crawling through, he's trying to get behind the stairs, because stairs are made of reinforced concrete. And my brother told me specifically, and I remember my one friend Asa or something like that, like he hid behind the bar. What a fucking idiot. Bar's made out of wood. Do you think that'll protect you, loser? And I'm like, bro, the fuck? Anyway, he's crawling through the people stomping on top of him, crawling through broken glass. His friend from behind the bar picks up a PKM, just starts shooting back at the terrorists. There's a gunfight going on inside the bar, and he finally reaches behind the stairs. And he looks at his friend. He's like, hey, are you okay, man? His friend looks at him, and he's like, they fucking hit Barrow! The sons of bitches! My brother looks at himself. Blood all over his hands. Blood all over his shirt. Instantly takes off his shirt. It's like, hey, where was I hit? Where was I hit? And they look for a cut. There was only a small cut on his finger. Not on his finger, on his hand. But otherwise, he was fine.
Right, so was he playing knife game while this was all happening?
It was Rusty Cage playing the knife game at the bar. It was an attempted hit on Rusty Cage. Anyways, my brother, turns out nothing's wrong with him. They go upstairs. An old man is like going schizophrenic. They're coming for us. They're fucking coming for us. They're gonna kill us. And my brother's like, it's alright. They're gone. They're gone. And the guy stayed like that for half an hour. And the terrorists ran away. They got caught at a security checkpoint. Never heard from again. Meanwhile, me and my mother at home. I'm like 13 years old at the time. And my mother's like, hey, do you hear that shooting? I'm like, yeah. She's like, it's from where the cafe that your brother stays at all the time. Do you think he's alright? I'm like, it's probably nothing. It's nothing. Yeah. Anyways, he comes back home with a bandage over his head and a new set of clothes. And that's
crazy.
That's my war story for the day. Yeah, man, shit like that used to happen.
Even in the bummy areas of California, nothing like that happens.
I think it happens in Chicago.
Oh yeah, no, it happens.
Yeah, that's just another Tuesday in Chicago.
And like
it sounds like
in
that.
Like ghettos up north and all that, but yeah, not down here.
Yeah, it sounds like something that would happen in like New York City with all the mafia there.
Yeah, I could say when you said that there was an old schizophrenic man at the bar, it reminded me of something that happened when I was in LA. Because I'm about an hour away, so I go up there sometimes.
What happened?
I was with two buddies of mine, and we were outside of a convenience store, and we came out of the store, and we were just hanging out, and a few minutes later, a guy gets thrown out of the store by security. It's one of those stores that's like it's a 7-Eleven, but it's nice enough to have a security guard. So I figured that one out. And the guy comes up to us, and he's got a broken leg. He's walking on crutches, and he starts telling us that he's being gang stalked. Like, he just comes up to us, like, three guys, and he just tells us out of nowhere he's being stalked. And he tells us, like, his life story, pretty much, about how he grew up in this, like, small town in the middle of nowhere, and he somehow ended up in Mexico, and the cartel was chasing him. And he like, got stuck in a hospital in Mexico, and the cartel found him, and they chased him out, and they shot at him, and it hit him in the leg, and that's how his leg is broken. And he took a bus up to LA from Mexico, and it was like the weirdest story. And he was definitely schizophrenic. Like, he definitely was.
I think he was telling the truth. I mean, it sounds like a very knowledgeable and correct guy to me. You know what I'm saying?
I do believe that he actually was in Mexico because he showed us his bus ticket.
Was he Mexican?
No, he was a white guy. He showed us his driver's license.
Listen,
which had his
it's
address
2022. Just because he's white doesn't mean he's not a Mexican. Okay.
Yeah. But no, he showed us his driver's license, and he did actually live in a town of like 300 people out in the middle of nowhere, and he had a bus ticket from what's the city, Tijuana to LA, and so he definitely was in Mexico. So, but I don't think
it shouldn't
he
be
got
all a
shot by
shocker
the
that
cartel.
shouldn't be all a shocker that a white man walks into Mexico and gets shot.
Yeah, I went to Mexico a couple of years ago. It was like early high school, so not a couple of years ago, longer than that. And it was not a pretty place. It was really bad. Like, I thought I had seen bad places, just driving through like some of the ghettos in LA, but no, it was really depressing. Like, there were just people like, just sitting on. Like, everywhere where a person could be, there was a person. Like, you'd just be driving out in the middle of nowhere. People would be asleep on the dirt on the side of the road.
They're doing jumping practice?
Yeah.
They have jumping poles.
Yeah, pole vaulting was a good hobby down there.
Yeah.
It's a real booming business. The border was no joke, though. There were guys that had, like full-on assault rifles that you'd see in Call of Duty at the border. They were not getting through that.
Like,
yeah.
I went down there for like a guided tour, and then I went down to like a little like vacation spot down. That's the only time I've actually been in Mexico, but I drove back and forth through Canada, and it was funny because the first time before I had done that, there was a guy who was a friend of mine who lived in Canada, and he was from Africa originally. And he's like, oh, yeah, he's like, you got to be careful because, like, the border, like, they'll really shake you down. They'll really, like, they'll look every molecule of your car over. They'll really, like, tear your whole car up, look under, like, your floor mat and everything. And, like, I drove back and forth through the border, and I just, like, pull up, and they're like, hey, you going into Canada? I'm like, yeah, here's my ID. They're like, oh, who cares anyway? I don't care. It's driving right in. I don't care, whatever. And then I came back, and they're like, oh, hey, are you smuggling anything back? I'm like, nope. They're like, all right, well, I believe you. All right, you're cool. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're leaving the U.S., they just let you in. Like they don't care.
Man. So what you're saying is the police are racist.
I mean, listen, when I worked a lot of jobs, I never wanted to do them either. So, I mean, I understand how it is. Like, you look at some guy, you're like, yeah, whatever. He's whatever. You know, he's not going to kill anybody probably. So, you know, whatever. I'm just tired. Like, I don't want to sit around and like have to like look under people's fucking like look inside your shoes or whatever. Like, who wants to do that? That's just a whole lot of shit I don't want to do. So, you know, I mean, same thing. People would come in when I used to work at a cell phone store. People come in and be like, you know, my name is John Smith, and yeah, I am from like 5 states over. Anyways, I'd like to buy 60 cell phones with my legitimate credit card. I'm like, well, if it clears, yeah, whatever, that's fine. I just run it. Okay, well, it cleared, so here you go. Then I get a call from like the fucking FTC or whatever. They're like, oh yeah, we got this guy who just stole like 6,000 cell phones and says he was at your store. I'm like, oh, I thought he was legit. It looked legit to me. Well, how could I know? The check cleared, so I mean, shit, you know, we got the money. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Deshaun McJohnson comes in and is like, hey, I just saved up $100 for a flip phone. Like, hold it right there. I just need to call security first.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I just remembered? A funny food story from back in home country. You guys want to listen now, or has it been too long?
Oh, yeah. Talk, Dad, talk.
Okay, so, back in home country, we had many bootleg fast food places. So we had Burger Queen, we had, what was it called? We had Marmarita, which had the McDonald's arch. We had so many things. Because you couldn't get trademarks enforced in Syria, and we didn't have any McDonald's in Syria because of all the trade sanctions. But out of all the bootleg places, the one place we actually used to go to was called Abu Ali Tasammum, which translates to Abu Ali food poisoning. And we called him that because every time you go there, there's a chance you get food poisoning. And we took it anyway, because his food was fucking good, man. Like, the dirtier the place, and the cheaper it is, the better the food. And my friend would always go there, because every other place would forget to remove ketchup and mayonnaise from his sandwich. But Abu Ali Tasammum, the guy with the food poisoning, would always remove his, like, shit. And I never got any food poisoning. I guess I was one of the lucky ones. So, there's that story. What's the nutrition like of food poisoning, Abu Ali?
Around here, if you find a place that has like mold on the ceiling, man, you know it's gonna be good.
Heck yeah, man. I agree. It adds that little extra bit of flavor and texture. I'm just saying.
All right, the less English employees speak, the better the food.
What?
Oh yeah.
The less the employees speak English, the better the food.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, my dad lived in China for a couple years in the 90s, and he has all sorts of crazy stories about the local food there. They've just got like dogs roaming around in the kitchen, just like it would be like the health department would have a meltdown if they saw what went on over there. But the food was really good, apparently. So, worth it.
That's what I'm saying, man. The dirtier the place, the better it is. Now, here's the thing. There's a spectrum where the more exotic it is, the better it is, until you reach the uncanny valley, and that's when you get into like insects and shit like that. So it's like, I think the Chinese have it figured out with the whole bat meat thing. I think that's going to be fantastic. Of course, bats are rodents as us, garbage mice, so I am more protective of them than usual, but I'll let it slide for the Chinese. Yeah, so that's been our food talk.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you guys want to answer some Patreon questions?
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
For the last
Are we
10
answering
minutes.
the Trashrats Patreon questions or our Discord questions?
Nobody asked us questions on our Discord, so I'm guessing we're going straight to the Trash Rats. So let's see. This was on March 2nd. This is where I'll start. Rusty Cage asks, I'm going to ban the word garbage mice and anyone who says it. Your show sucks, you suck, and none of your hosts are worth their salt. Now, Eggy, I believe this is targeted at you. What do you think of that? Rusty Cage is straight dissing you here, man. I don't know. I don't. That doesn't seem like a good friend to me.
Well, I mean, all I can really do is just be myself. And the fact of the matter is that Rusty Cage is putting up millions on the board, all right? He's a 7-figure fellow. You know, he's a worldwide superstar. And truly, I mean, I really just can't compete with that. I don't know how I would. So I don't take it personally. I'm not envious. All I can do is just focus on my own self and just be myself. And that's what I'll do. So that's all I can really say.
Okay. Justin Kim says, release the boxing match. Do you know what happened in the boxing match, Eggy? Can you give us the quick rundown? How many hits did it take for Rusty to get knocked out and have brain damage?
Well, basically, I mean, I know Emp Lemon was editing the footage, but what also happened was Mumkey actually did, what he did was he did this, I'll just describe how I saw it. So he was in the fight and he needed to get an advantage. So he goes and he basically sort of ran up the side of the wall, but it was really it was the fence in Rusty's backyard. So he like runs up Rusty's fence, but he basically sort of, when I say that, I mean he turns and he like basically puts his feet up on the fence to kind of flip himself over and did like a backflip kick technique towards Rusty.
What the fuck?
But he did that, and he couldn't really see where he was aiming. Like, he just kind of, it was also, like, it was just within, like, a couple seconds. But as he was doing that, the camera was kind of ended up being in the midst of his, or, like, in the area where he was going to kick, because, like, everything all changed just within these couple seconds. So then he ended up kind of hitting camera, and it didn't impact anything at the time, but I think maybe the footage might have got a little messed up as a result of that. That might be part of the reason why the footage was kind of hanging in the balance. I'm not too sure, but that was just something that came to mind for me because it was such a within a few seconds it was like, whoa, you didn't really know what was happening. It all happened so suddenly.
So Mumkey did a cool wall kickflip, and we're never gonna see it ever.
Man.
I mean, if we had just been, I mean, I knew that Mumkey had trained for this match for months because it had been talked about, but I guess if we just really knew what was going to happen, maybe there would have been a little bit more polish on the camera setup, I guess. It was sort of just like, it started off as like a backyard kind of little, tit for tat, back and forth kind of thing, and all of a sudden these guys started unleashing their moves, and it's like, oh my goodness, I guess nobody could have really known. Because it all started off as just a little silly thing, and then it just turned into this thing that couldn't have been expected. And I think if there's ever a rematch in the future with a little bit more polish on the camera and everything like that, I think you'll really see some incredible things.
They should have bought a tripod, like, easily. Man.
Yeah. I don't know. I think they're afraid to release the footage because then the army might get a hold of it and be like, hey.
Right, Monkey's just trying not to get drafted.
But we need to get this guy to Ukraine right now. With these skills.
We got to get Mumkey to do this move on Putin.
Yeah.
That might just end the war before it starts.
Man, Mumkey, you have the chance to be a world savior, okay? Now listen to me. If you were Putin's mother, like that woman, you would be able to stop the war here. Just kick him in the fucking head. I'm trying to look for more. Actually, this is a good question. Do you prefer 2% milk or whole milk? By the way, if you don't drink whole, you're a pussy. So, what do you think, Eggy?
Well, I bought a whole gallon of whole milk yesterday. I walked about a mile for it.
Did you drink it?
Most of it, yeah.
No, nice. Well, you have to finish it. Finish your milk, man.
Right, because our fridge doesn't really work very well.
Yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I gotta have whole. It tastes. Anything else tastes like milk flavored water. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah, no, whole is the best.
I get you.
I used to drink a lot of milk. Like, I'd just buy like a half gallon of milk at the store and then finish it by the end of the day. But I don't do that anymore because last time I did it, I felt kind of sick afterward.
So you're lactose intolerant?
I definitely am not lactose intolerant with how much
I'm intolerant a lot of people and cultures, but I'm not lactose intolerant. You know what I'm saying?
I'm surprisingly not lactose intolerant. I think I'm quite lucky for that. Actually, a lot of people from my city are not, so I'm guessing it's genetic.
Right, my entire family, except for I'm not lactose intolerant, and I fucking love it. I love milk.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
drink about a cup of it every day. You know, I have it in my coffee.
Tub? You say a tub of milk every day? I don't know. You sound a little sketchy.
I said a cup,
It sounds like
but a tub wouldn't be very bad either.
Sorry,
You might as well just buy your own cow at that point.
I just misheard that, but I mean, a cup is good. You gotta start somewhere, and they ain't too small to get in the diet. Yes, sir.
I'll amp it to a tub eventually.
Eventually, we'll get there.
Yeah.
However, I want to know this question. If World War III kicked off and you were approached by the government to make a propaganda song for the troops, would you do it, Eggy?
I mean, it depends on what kind of offer they're presenting to me. I mean, if I took a stand against it, if I said no, it's morally wrong, I would feel good about that morally. But at the same time, I mean, really, my reach is, I gotta be honest. My reach is not massive. So in the grand scheme of things, it might not matter either way. So I mean, if whatever they were presenting to me seemed like it would offset the moral quandary that I would have for supporting them, I would give it a consideration. But I find it difficult to believe that they would compensate me an effective amount to make that morally plausible for me. So probably not. But you know what? Hey, nothing is totally off the table. Yes, never say never, right?
So what you're saying is you stand with Russia.
What I'm saying is I'm going to go join the Russian army right now myself. I'm
My
ready.
man!
Yeah, Suka.
See, I wouldn't die in a foreign war under any circumstances, but if it has any negative impact on America, that's the most positive and captivating reasoning that could be presented to me.
I get you.
All right, so you're saying, so possibly our first encounter in real life might be in a gunfire with each other.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
That would make for a good episode.
Well, Lil Pizzabox, you've picked your side, to be honest.
Right, I enlisted.
You made your own grave on that one. Imagine.
Yeah, I did dig my own grave, I think.
Imagine making
I think I am going to die on this one.
Yeah, to the other side of the globe, like on Eastern fucking Europe, in a shithole country, in a shithole city nobody knows the name of, and then you get shot by EGGWHITE. Okay, that's your fault. You brought that on yourself.
It is what it is, YouTube.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
I guess that was Patreon questions for Trashrats, news articles.
Yeah, the news sucks.
Yeah, Alt has asked for you, Eggy, to come on Trashrats 49. No, you're coming on at Garbagemice 4. So.
Yeah, and Garbagemice 49.
Right.
Fuck yeah. You're gonna be here on the Tim Pool episode, aren't you? On episode 50 of Garbagemice.
Of course, absolutely.
Heck yeah. And we'll talk to him about Russia and Ukraine and Tibet and Germany and how Russia is now advancing on France. It's gonna be great.
That's right.
Yeah.
So much more. Every single day is a brand new day full of wonder and amazement. So.
Indeed. So if you enjoy aesthetic, war WebMF vibes on 4chan, you'll be enjoying the Ukraine conflict, because now you get a lot more fresh content of Doomer music played on top of like buildings being destroyed.
That's right. Darn tootin'.
All right. Oh, I think we can wrap it up here, I guess. Unless there are any more questions.
I don't have any more questions. Well, before we wrap up, we all remember our new ritual of praying to each of the trash rats at the end of every episode for at least 1 minute.
Right.
It didn't really work, so I think I'm abandoning my religion here.
No, you're not. You're coming with us, or we're abandoning you. It's either us or your faith.
Okay, I guess I'll stick with the cult for mercenary reasons.
Okay, fine.
I really like now that our Patreon is making like what did you say, like $7,000 a month?
Yeah,
I
we're
kinda need
making
to
money,
stick
man.
around.
Like this is big. So I guess we have to start praying for like 15 seconds. Let's make it 15. I pick Rusty. Let's go. Oh Lord, Rusty, I give you my blood,
Oh.
Rusty.
I'm gonna go with reactor.
I give you Rusty my blood.
Listen, reactor.
Come to us, Rusty.
Oh,
Have the blood. The blood.
man.
You have my blood.
Come on the show.
Forgive us for our sins.
Please.
Join us on Garbagemice 50.
Okay, we're good.
Please,
have-
Tim Pool, join us.
We've done our part. Thank you for coming on, Eggy. It's been amazing to talk to you. Honestly, I'm very honored to have you on the show. It's going to be a highlight of, my career, let's say, as a podcaster. And I think we can wrap up today.
It's been a wonderful time. Thank you again for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. And cut.